Good morning, boys. Once again, we are back with the important step in protein synthesis, that is translation. And in step number 1, we studied how DNA replicates and forms mRNA. That is step number 1. And that takes place within the nucleus of a cell. Once mRNA is formed, it comes out of the nucleus, enters into cytoplasm, right? And now the mRNA having 3 nitrogenous bases sets. So we say triplet code. One triplet code consists of 3 nitrogenous bases, like this. As you are able to see, mRNA 3 triplets, AUG, ACA, CAU, right? And the orientation is 5' to 3', 5th carbon to 3rd carbon, right? Once this comes out from nucleus to the cytoplasm, a process called translation takes place. And what is translation? It is the process of protein formation or protein synthesis in the cytoplasm of a cell. And for this translation, what is required? All 3 mRNAs are required. All 3 RNAs are required, in fact. One is the mRNA, second is the rRNA, and the third one is the tRNA. mRNA, messenger RNA, single stripe with nitrogenous bases. tRNA, we said clove-shaped, lavanga, clove-shaped tRNA having again triplet code at the base. We call it as anticodon. So anticodon is the triplet code of nitrogenous bases present in the lower arm of the tRNA, which is in clove shape. And the upper arm will be having amino acid attachment, like you are seeing MAT, okay, methionine, the first one. And the third one that is required is both mRNA and tRNA will be together present in rRNA, ribosomal RNA. And ribosomes, as we said, are the factories of protein synthesis. And they consist of 2 subunits. They are like balloons, one small unit, one big unit. And the small unit is attached to the mRNA, and to that the big unit will be attached. Overall, both the subunits, larger and smaller subunits of ribosome, will cover mRNA as well as tRNA. And what is to be noted? The mRNA will be present in the notch. Between 2 subunits, big unit and small unit, there will be a small notch. So in that notch, this mRNA will be present. And in the larger unit, tRNA will be there, right? So for translation, these 3 are required. Along with that, there is to be an enzyme. As you are seeing here, ribosome small unit, ribosome big unit, large unit. And there are places called A site and P site and E site. And the tRNAs will keep on moving from A site to P site to E site. And once the tRNA having anticodons, triplet code, matches with the codon of the mRNA, so codon, anticodon, codon of mRNA matching with the anticodon of tRNA, immediately what happens? The amino acid that is present on the top arm gets released into the cytoplasm. And one amino acid joins with another amino acid through peptide bond, and that becomes polyamino acid chain. And that polyamino acid chain is nothing but protein. So For translation to start, first area, where is the location of the translation? Cytoplasm of the cell, right? And how does it get initiated? By the initiating codon present on mRNA, that is AUG. Remember, August I said. And for that AUG codon, what should be the parallel anticodon, suitable anticodon? If mRNA has got adenine, on tRNA it should be uracil. Remember, I said in DNA, AT or TA. Adenosine can combine with thymosin and vice versa. Thymosin can combine with adenosine. AT or TA. But here, since it is mRNA, thymine is replaced with uracil. So, adenine present on mRNA will be matching with uracil present on tRNA, as you are seeing here. Look at that. So, A will be matched with U. A of mRNA matched with U of tRNA. Next, U, uracil here on mRNA. On tRNA, it has to be A, adenine. And on mRNA, it is G, guanine. So, naturally, in tRNA, it has to be C. So, what is the codon on mRNA? AUG. And we call it appropriately as initiating codon because it marks the beginning of translation, protein synthesis. And this codon of AUG present on mRNA matches with anticodon UAC of tRNA. And where is this happening? This is happening within the ribosome. So we say rRNA, tRNA, mRNA complex. We can say RNA complex. And when the codon of mRNA matches with the anticodon of tRNA, what will be released? Methionine. An amino acid called methionine gets released. And similarly, once the initiation starts, next it is the structural gene. ACA. Again, see, for ACA, you have got again an anticodon for that. Like you have got CUC, there is an amino acid. Then GGA, there is an amino acid. So, like this, tRNAs will be having two things within their structure. At the lower arm, an anticodon consisting of 3 nitrogenous bases. On the upper arm, there is A site, amino acid attachment, right? And there has to be an enzyme for this entire process, that is peptidyl transferase. Okay. Now we go with the, I think just it's a revision type. You can see the initiation complex, mRNA, rRNA. mRNA, rRNA complex. And where is the initiating codon? AUG. And where is it? It is in the P site. So that just like train moving on the platform, you see, the tRNAs will keep on moving over the mRNA. And then finally look at that, UAA. I said the moment this code or triplet codon comes on mRNA, that signals termination, isn't it? UAE, UAG, UGA. Out of the 3, anyone coming there will signal termination of the process. That means by then many amino acids must have been released into the cytoplasm. So AUG, you must remember, initiation. Next, look at that. Methionine tRNA binds to P site. Look at that. The binding of the tRNA having methionine. So we are calling it as methionine tRNA. Where is it binding? it's binding to P site of the ribosomal complex, and initiating codon is AUG. Suitable anticodon is UAC. So this is step number 1 in initiation. And then once that starts, step number 2, elongation. Now in elongation, second tRNA binds to A site. Now look at that. A site. And now the role of enzyme has come. The peptide bond is to be formed between the two amino acids, MET and THR, right? And I think you know the bond between two amino acids is called peptide bond, and peptide bond is formed due to the loss of one water molecule. H2O will be lost, and the bond that takes place is between, if you recollect from your memory, biomolecules chapter of class 11th, wherein we have studied amino acids. Any amino acid basically will have one carbon with a tetravalency, 4 bonds, right? And out of the 4, one will be amino, second will be COOH, carboxyl group, third will be hydrogen, fourth will be R group. So the bond between two amino acids is COOH, that H, and NH2, that OH. OH from carboxylic group, H from NH2 group, OH plus H, H2O. So one water molecule is removed from two amino acids, adjoining or adjacent amino acids. As a result, peptide bond is formed. So the elongation continues. Now look at that. Now third one has come, third tRNA. Now that is the reason why I said yesterday, mRNA is like a railway platform, and this tRNA is like a train. Bogie after bogie, as one bogie moves out of the platform, second bogie comes, third bogie comes, like that. And where this is taking place? In the railway station. So rRNA is a railway station, mRNA is a railway track, tRNA is train bogies. So you can visualize this easily. And translocation from A site to P site, as you are seeing, one after the other. So now the third amino acid called histone has come, histamine. So MET, THR, HIS. Now 3 amino acids already started linking with each other in the presence of the enzyme. And you can see as the time proceeds, as the tRNAs join and the ribosomal complex moves, you can see just like on the railway track, one after the other, series of amino acids are formed. Look at that. We started off with MET, right? And we have come now to PRO. But you must understand that bottom one. What is that? Codon and anticodon. You see, for every amino acid, there has to be specific codon from mRNA and suitable anticodon of tRNA. Then only that amino acid is released. Otherwise, no. Right? Now here you see, for the amino acid pro, it is mRNA codon is CCU and anticodon on tRNA is GGA. Then only the amino acid is released. Now you can see chain of amino acids getting released into the cytoplasm. And this chain of amino acids, Sandeep calls it polyamino acid. Okay? So polyamino acid complex is nothing but protein. This is how the protein synthesis takes place in the cytoplasm. And as I said, everything that starts off in life will have to close down after some time, and that sometime comes here as the train moves, ribosomal complex moves, as the tRNAs one after the other, just like train bogie. Like you must have seen the numbers S1 coach, S2 coach, S3 coach, S4 coach, like that. So here coach numbers in the form of tRNA will be moving from A site to P site, and once UAA, UAG, UGA, out of the three any one comes, that is the end of the story of protein synthesis. That is the reason why we call them as stop codons, terminating codons, nonsense codons. All the three words mean same. Okay, Shrikant is waiting. Okay, Yadav has come. The room is locked. Yes. Right. So the termination process is signaled with the presence of stop codons, and that means the releasing factor binds. The moment this happens, all the amino acids will be, chain of amino acids will be released to cytoplasm. Okay. You can see further. Together you can see here. The moment termination takes place, what happens? mRNA is released, one strip out, ribosomal complex is broken, big unit and small unit separated, tRNA is gone, so you can see everything gets released, individualized. Look at that. Ribosome large subunit separated, ribosome small unit separated, tRNA separated, and peptidyl transfer is also separated. So this marks the end of protein synthesis. Now you can see the separation. And thanks to this, because this is how we get proteins. That means the particular genes are getting expressed. Now we are entering into that topic, regulation of gene expression. It means a particular protein is required by our body that will be synthesized like this in 3 steps: initiation, elongation, termination. Then we say it is gene expression. Now if we don't regulate it, there may be dangers. Unwanted genes may express and undesirable proteins may be formed. Okay, unwanted proteins may be formed. Due to that, there may be some unknown diseases for us. So there is a need for controlling this gene expression. Which protein is to be formed in our body? How many amino acids are to be formed? And what should be the combination of amino acids to form a particular protein? All these are to be regulated. So that we call it as regulation of gene expression, right? Now here see, there are 4 steps to regulate gene expression. Number 1, transcriptional level we can regulate, processing level we can regulate, mRNA transport time we can do it, and translational level we can do it. So the regulation can be at 4 levels, and there are some steps. In eukaryotes like us, gene expression occurs by following levels. Number 1, at transcriptional level, formation of primary transcript. Right? Remember, we used 2 steps broadly for the protein synthesis: transcription and translation. Transcription, we said, transcribing of DNA into mRNA, conversion of DNA into mRNA through DNA splitting, right? DNA replication, we said. And second one is processing level. In processing level, there will be two steps called splicing and capping. At that time also it can be done. Regulation of gene can be done. And third, transport of mRNA from nucleus to cytoplasm. That is the fourth level. And fifth, translation, that is formation of polypeptide chain, many amino acids joining together. That time also we can have a control. Now it's the same thing in the form of diagram you see. Now transcription, as we said, takes place within the nucleus. Am I right? Transcription is DNA replication to form mRNA that takes place in the nucleus. Now how this mRNA is formed, like genes, structural genes on DNA, there will be two, remember, introns and exons, and we remove those exons and form introns, and then we say heteronucleus RNA, hnRNA. From hnRNA, mRNAs are formed, and this mRNA comes out of nucleus. mRNA is getting transported from nucleus to cytoplasm, and once mRNA starts, and translation, whatever we discussed for last 2 days, there will be formation of mRNA, tRNA, rRNA complex, and the codons of mRNA should match with anticodons of tRNA. Matching of these two will make the amino acid to be released, and chain of amino acids will form proteins, and all this occurs in cytoplasm. So in all these places there can be regulation of gene expression. And the metabolism, okay, physiological and environmental conditions regulate the gene expression. You see, 3 ways gene expression can be controlled: through metabolism, through physiological conditions, and most important, environmental conditions. Like he says, in E. coli, the beta galactosidase enzyme, okay, ASE, look at that, galactosidase, ASE means enzyme, hydrolyzes lactose into galactose and glucose. So lactose, that is, yes, in E. coli also the processing will be there, and we can have control both in transcription level and translation level. Okay, so the lactose will be converted into galactose and glucose just by the presence of beta galactosidase enzyme. And what does it do? It hydrolyzes, means it breaks with the help of water. In the absence of lactose, suppose lactose is not there, then the synthesis of that enzyme will be stopped. Beta galactosidase stops, and when that enzyme is not present, then what happens? Lactose will remain as lactose. There is no question of formation of galactose and glucose. So this is a control or regulation of gene expression. Just by removing lactose from the medium, we can regulate the gene expression in E. coli. So the absence of lactose will make E. coli not to synthesize an enzyme called beta galactosidase. So when this enzyme is not there, lactose is not there, there is no question of glucose formation. So this is gene. Why? When is this required? Suppose a lot of glucose is already there in the body, there is no requirement of glucose, then there has to be regulation of the gene. So this is what the E. coli will be doing by regulating its own gene. So the development and differentiation of embryo into adult are a result of expression of several sets of genes. See, the very formation of all of us from embryo to adult is because of gene regulation. Look at that. Embryo to adult formation only is gene regulation. What happens, Kadkol, if we don't do that? if the genes are not regulated, not controlled, what will happen? Yes? Yes, Karkol? Yeah. The embryo may not develop into a desired adult. There may be some problems in the development. That is the reason why we need to regulate gene expression. And this is how we can grow E. coli in a medium, particular wax. Now here you can see, if a substrate is added to growth medium of bacteria, a set of genes is switched on to metabolize it. It is called induction. If you make the genes, just like you want to put on a light, electric bulb in your home, what do? You switch on, the light glows. Like that, we can have this switch on and switch off of our genes. When you switch on the genes through physiology, then particular metabolism takes place. That's called induction. When a metabolite, that is product, is added, the genes to produce it are turned off, because already let's say we want glucose in our body. Already glucose is available in our body. There is no requirement of our body for the formation of glucose. Then what happens? The genes are to be switched off. And how we do that? We can by add or subtract, we can do in the medium. So if we make the genes on, it is called induction. If we make our genes off, it is called repression. So induction and repression. Through this, we can control. And the way that we control the genes and their expression is explained beautifully through a model. And that model is called Apeiron concept. That is, Apeiron is short version of operating gene. Okay, Apeiron concept. And thanks to two scientists, I hope their photos are there. Let me show. Yeah. Thanks to these two gentlemen, Jacob and Monod. These two scientists have proposed this. Francois Jacob and Monod. Look at that. So must be thankful to these two gentlemen for finding out how gene expression can be controlled. And how to control, look at that. The model. Each metabolic reaction is controlled by set of genes. Like digestion is controlled by set of genes. Respiration is controlled by set of genes, like that. All the genes regulating a metabolic reaction constitute a operon, operating genes. Okay, all the genes regulating, let's say, digestion will make one operon. Example, lac operon. Okay, lactose, lac, LAC refers to lactose formation. Lac operon. How lactose controls the formation of substances with its presence or absence. Since lactose is deciding factor, we name it as lac operon. Similarly, there are other operons like his operon, ara operon, val operon. We will be studying this lac operon. Look at that. This is how the model will be, lac operon model. So there will be basically two regions. One is called promoter region. Okay, you can see the promoter, and then regulatory area. So regulating area, promoting area, and of course termination will be there, right? So promoter, first one is the regulator, second one is the promoter, third one is the operator. Please focus on that. Regulator, you can see there they have written regulator gene like lac. Lac refers to lactose. Okay. Promoter region, again lac P. Operator region, lac O. O refers to lactose operator. P refers to promoter, lac P. Lac I or lac R is regulator gene, right? So basically in this operon model, if you observe, there are three areas: regulating area, promoting area and operating area. And after that you can see lac Z, lac Y, lac A. These are all the structural genes. Lac Z is a gene, lac Y is a gene, lac A is a gene. And lac Z gene is responsible for formation of an enzyme called beta galactosidase. Beta galactosidase. Lac Y is responsible for lactose permease, and lac A is responsible for galactoside transacetylase. And all these three enzymes are very important in the formation and regulation of glucose. I think I will take up this tomorrow, how this lac operon functions. Okay. Today what you do, just draw the diagram and keep it ready. Normally this is a major question, a 5-mark question in the CBSE board exam. Now that you have got MCQs, these three you must remember. What is that? Lac Z, and the concerned enzyme is beta galactosidase. Lac Y, lactose permease. Lac A, galactosidase transacetylase. So this you may ask you in MCQ, right? So keep remembering that. So the better way to remember is draw the diagram, right? I'll see you tomorrow in my next class.